Okay, one of the most common backswing patterns that we see would be a player who does sway. But one of the things that we're going to talk about today specifically is this back leg and the movement of that. And we can see some funky things go on with this leg. Could be related to toe flare, right? Or simply just the structure of how the person is designed. But we can see at stages where this back leg and this back knee tends to move outside the hip line way too much, right? And you can see it's outside the foot. All of a sudden, we start to get this rolling look. And we're going to talk about how to ensure that our pivot is staying more functional. We're certainly not going to put ourselves into any position that we're going to actually injure ourselves here.
Correct.
So what's a drill that you would have for a player if they were to freeze frame their golf swing in the backswing and all of a sudden they start to see that they're rolling a little bit too much pressure on the outstep of their foot and that knee is kind of twisting in what looks a bit of a funky position?
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I like putting the ball just on the outside of the foot so that they have the sensation of having pressure more on the inside of their foot, essentially. So they just have it a little bit more on the outside so they can kind of coil up. The hip will go deeper. Feel like you're kind of pinching with your hips a little bit more, getting a little bit more behind you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so what we'll do is we will first of all demonstrate the player whose knee would be doing a bit of a funky action and how that might differ once they've put this golf ball under the outstep. Now, position of this, would you put it more under the top of the ball of the foot here, in the mid, or the back?
No, you'd want it more closer to the ball of the foot. That'll keep it a little bit more dynamic.
Correct. One of the main reasons that we want that to happen, guys, is because we kind of want to, through this backswing motion, get the pressure in our feet shifting more towards our back heel, right? As we start to move back, if we stay too much onto the ball of our foot, which is why we've placed it there, what's going to happen is if you're a player who does this, we're actually more likely to see the knee move in that direction, and we're going to get ourselves into a position where we're going to see a lot of players stand up. So shifting your pressure to your back heel is going to help us get this depth of hip turn, which will give us a lot of room in the downswing to create that quality strike and power. So setting up to this one here, we've placed it just underneath kind of, let's say if that's the midline of the foot there, you can see, let's place it a little bit further forward. Definitely on the outside. And as I swing back here, Sam, what am I focusing on, mate?
You're actually just trying to get your right hip going more behind you for, sometimes it's feeling the knee just inside the foot. So I just feel like the knee is barely inside the ankle. Some people feel it in their hip a little bit going back. Yeah, like their hip, like they can almost like pinch two fingers in their hip. Yeah, it gets more behind you.
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent, yeah.
And you can see if I remove that out of the way from that same position, and then I do that movement that we were talking about, you can see how that knee there is actually going to move outside. So being in this position, this setup, getting that golf ball, placing it underneath the outstep of the back foot, right, kind of like on the ball of the foot there, and just getting and building that view, my knee automatically works in a better fashion. And we're going to see some great visuals up on the screen here that I'll put up of players getting into a position at the top of the swing where it will be beautifully structured, very similar to what we can see here on both these camera angles. So training plan here, Sam, we're going to start off slow and intentional.
Yes.
Of course.
Exactly.
Just knew the answer to that one, didn't we? If you watched any videos on this channel, it's one thing knowing the information, but it's more important to know how to implement it in a correct fashion. Look, all these videos out on YouTube, guys, they are very helpful, but it's similar to Googling health information. If you don't know what to look for, it can actually be harmful and applying it. However, if you are slow and intentional, really a lot of these exercises can still be maintenance for you to improve. And this is going to be the one that we're talking about today. So up into position here, ball underneath the outstep of that back foot, nice little smooth pivot. I can feel that my legs and everything are working really nicely. So how much speed should I apply on this one here, mate?
Maybe like 50% speed. This one, you can do this one a little bit faster, a little bit quicker, just because you do have the ball support. But I would still start, about 50%, 40% speed, and then you can slowly ramp it up. So this one go to like 70%.
Yeah, perfect.
That right ball of the foot seems to be touching the ground as well, which is perfect. That's exactly what we would want. That means if you put the ball too much under your foot and that right part is a little bit off the ground, we don't want that, because you can roll.
Yeah, for sure. And what I would suggest when you do this exercise is make sure that you can move this ball around to accommodate a better setup position, because the last thing we want is players put their ball here and then they go, oh, I need to put my foot on the ball, and now all of a sudden they've jeopardized their setup position. So try and make it as similar as possible to what you would be like in your normal setup position, ball on the outstep of that back foot. I'm going to go a little bit faster on this one.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And we'll see that in slow motion from the face on how that lower body was working, as opposed to what I demonstrated at the beginning of that knee moving outwards and rotating. And look, guys, if you're struggling with your ball striking, you're not striking the ball first, the ground second, you're making that good contact, you're not allowing this back leg to lengthen, to make a nice big centered turn. Use a golf ball, you can use a doorstop, other things on the outstep of your foot, kind of just past the midline, just near the ball, and get that feeling of the knee staying inside that foot line, allowing that depth of hip turn to put you in a better position at the top and hit better shots.
Thanks for watching this video. YouTube thinks that you would benefit from watching this one next. So click that card and it could be the tip that you need to take your game to the next level. I'll see you next time.